If you're watching this video, you probably listen to English podcasts or watch English videos or TV shows or movies to improve your listening skills in English. After listening for an hour or more, you probably feel like you're being very productive and you're spending some high quality time studying. But I'm going to tell you something that you probably don't want to hear. You are probably wasting almost all of your time doing this. And this is because you are most likely making the very common mistake of passively listening, which will keep you at the intermediate level literally forever. In this video, I will give to you an active listening system that will actually turn your listening practice into real, legitimate fluency that you can use in real life. Now, I'm a native English speaker who had to learn the French language when I moved to one of the French speaking parts of the world. And unfortunately, I was very guilty of making this common mistake too when I had to learn a new language. I was driving several hours to another city, and on my drive, I decided to listen to a French podcast to practice my listening skills in the French language. I literally spent like over 2 hours listening to that French podcast on my entire drive to the other city. And when I got out of the car and finally arrived, my friend asked me what the podcast was about. My mind went completely blank. I had spent over 2 hours listening and I was hearing the words kind of, but none of it actually stuck. I could not explain what the podcast was about despite listening to it and hearing the words come in one ear and out the other. To be honest, I felt kind of stupid because I was spending a lot of time and I wasn't getting any real results. So this massive failure on my part, among many other failures I've made too when learning a new language, forced me to start thinking about language learning, specifically listening, more like a scientist. I realized that fluent English speakers don't just passively listen, they actually have an entire system built around how they actively listen and acquire new words. And this is the active listening system that I'm about to show you that has worked for me and has also been proven to work for other English learners as well. And the best part is that this could really be done in 15 minutes or less. You do not necessarily need to listen to a 3-hour podcast for this to be effective. The system is broken down into 3 simple steps, and the third step is by far the most important, and it's the one that unfortunately most English learners do not do, and it's the one step that's actually going to build active vocabulary and fluency. Now, before you begin the 3-step process, you can take a video or an audio clip that is around 5 minutes long or less. If you want to do something longer, you can do that too. But just to show you, you don't need to listen to a super long video. This could be done with a short 30-second clip if you want to. You're going to listen to that clip or video or part of the video at least 3 times. And each of the 3 times you listen to it, you are going to listen for a different aspect of the video or the audio. The first step is the gist step, meaning that you need to find out what the gist of the video or audio is about. To understand the gist of something just means to understand the big picture, the general idea of what that video or what that audio is about. You should be able to answer what the general idea of the video or audio is in one sentence. I will show you an example of this later on. The second step of the system, when you listen to the audio or video for the second time, the second step is the treasure hunting step. Simply put, this just means you need to find 2 pieces of treasure, meaning you need to find 2 new words or 2 new phrases that you want to actually adopt and put into your active vocabulary. I will also show you an example of this later on too. And the third time you listen to the audio or watch the video, and this third step is by far the most important step, and that is the activation step. You're going to take those 1 or 2 or more new words or expressions that you learned in the video or the audio. And you are going to actually apply them. You're going to create real sentences with them. You can type them out or text them out on your phone first in a notes application, but then it is so crucial. It is so important that you actually say these words or use these expressions out loud. You need to actually train your mouth to say it out loud. If you do not do this step, it could very well be the reason why you do not make any progress and you do not become more fluent by doing this exercise. So do not skip this step, whatever you do. So let's take this video that I'm recording for YouTube right now and use it as an example. Now, if I had to describe the gist of this video in one sentence, I would say this YouTube video is about teaching you how to actively listen instead of passively listen. That's it. If I were to find two words or expressions in this video that maybe I was not familiar with if I was an English learner, let's say the word the gist, I didn't know what that meant before. And let's say the expression simply put, I didn't know how to use that before either. I would mark down these two terms. And now for the third step, I'm actually going to apply them. Now, when you apply them in the third step, try to do 5 different variations for how you would actually use each term. So for example, the gist of this video is about teaching people how to not passively listen. That's the gist of it. The gist of it is this. The gist of it is that. The gist of it refers to the overall meaning of something. I just used 5 different variations of using the term the gist or the expression the gist of it. So now I can really understand how to use the word the gist of it, and I can understand how I'm going to use it the next time I'm going to actually express it to a real person. This might seem small, but literally just by going through the motion of actually using the words and the terms and the expressions that you learn, actually using them and applying them out loud, this makes all the difference. This completely makes the difference between you speaking confidently and naturally versus you hesitating and speaking unconfidently. You can do the same thing for simply put. Simply put, this video is very educational. Simply put, Arc English is the best. Simply put this, simply put that. Simply put, it looks like it's going to be cold tonight outside. Now for the terms, the gist of it, and simply put, it's going to be almost impossible for me to forget how to use these words and what it means because I just applied them several times on my own, in my own words, in the way that I would express it to a real person right in front of me. Now, take listening to a video and using this system to acquire new terms and apply them, and then take just passively listening to a podcast in the background or passively listening to a video in the background where the words are going in one ear and coming right out the other. As you can see, this is a real system. It's not a passive learning activity. So if you were to take just one thing away from this entire video, just take this one thing away. If you forget everything else I said, you are going to remember around 80% or more of all of the things that you physically experience and you physically do. That includes physically speaking and saying words out loud. And you might remember around 20% and possibly less of all of the things that you passively listen to and aren't actively paying attention to. If you take one thing away, please take that one thing away. Now, if you found this video useful, be sure to like the video to help the YouTube algorithm know that this video is useful for other people who are trying to improve their English. And if you're new here or you're a returning viewer, please leave a comment down below telling me where you're from and what your native language is. I'm always very fascinated to know. And also very soon, I will be releasing a free training on how to improve your English level much faster than the average English learner. So if you want to check that out, I'll leave a link somewhere in the description or the pinned comment below. If you want to learn how to improve your speaking skills through reading in English, be sure to watch the next video on the screen.